Google 24, Facebook 18, Instagram 12, and TikTok is 6. New technologies will continue to disrupt and supersede existing industries. And as the world goes increasingly digital, Jamaica must not be left behind. We need our own digital transformation, bringing affordable broadband internet to every Jamaican home to help our young Jamaicans to compete and outshine their peers across the world. Your vote can help us to make those necessary changes. Find out everything you need to know about voting at markgoldingja.com/vote. Remember, get out and vote. Your voice, your vote, your choice.
So much people they like this over here. Well, we need them to come along.
Education. Education is the best antidote to poverty, passing from this generation to the next. Your vote can help to make tertiary education more accessible.
Debate not too started, but you know, we're live in everywhere.
Students to access a student loan. It can help to cap student loan payments at a manageable percentage of your actual income so that the state, not you, the student, bears the risks of low pay or unemployment. And if you lose your job and you're unemployed, we will suspend loan payments and tack them to the back end of your loan without any penalties. That's what your vote can do. Find out everything you need to know about voting at markgoldingja.com/vote. Remember, get out and vote. Your voice, your vote, your choice. Crime and safety. Your future depends on the right measures for crime being put in place. And I think you're mature and smart enough to realize it's not just about police and soldiers patrolling the streets. It has to start with healing ourselves and our communities and giving our at-risk youth a second chance to become productive citizens. Many of you will know a young person that the education system failed, who, if he or she had that second chance through mentorship, training, remedial education, and job placement, could become a positive contributor to our society instead of chopping and pushing badness. Time come to use your vote to change that. Find out everything you need to know about voting at markgoldingja.com/vote. Remember, get out and vote. Your voice, your vote, your choice. Domestic violence is higher than ever. Violent crime is fed by a general lack of moral norms, discipline, and behavioral standards in this society. We must address this. Time comes to establish legislation with effective mechanisms and remedies to protect survivors. Time comes to implement support centers in every parish to provide safe havens for the survivors of domestic violence and sexual assaults. Your vote matters.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
In every constituency, on every issue, the People's National Party has assembled the strongest, most diverse slate of candidates in a generation. From doctors ready to heal our broken health system, to educators building a smart Jamaica, business people growing the economy, legal minds defending justice, and community advocates speaking truth to power. This is a team chosen for competence, compassion, and commitment. Led by Mark Golding, a good man with a good plan. This is not politics as usual. This is the team to rescue Jamaica, rebuild our future, and restore pride in leadership. Jamaica, time come.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party. The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Keisha.
What?
Why am I never saying at the exam?
I never have enough money to pay the school fees, so I just couldn't do the exam.
Hold on, Keisha, hold on.
What?
So you know you're about the PNP first in the family program.
No, what is?
It's a program where the person in your family, if you attend college or university, you get a scholarship for fund.
But me already there college, that not nothing to do with me.
Keisha, calm down. Hold on. It no matter if you're already in college or if you just
Ryan,
have
what
a
up, bro?
start and still get it.
So does that mean that my little brother get to say that I made it?
Definitely. You'll be the first, you definitely won't be the last.
That sounds fun.
Sounds good. Keisha, that sounds great. What is it, man?
It's not like time come for sure.
Education is the bridge between struggle and opportunity. It is how we lift families and grow a modern economy.
Come on, start the debate. It's 9 o'clock.
People's National Party.
Yeah, every month my parent and still no one. Yeah, so I rate the PNP plan enough.
Come on. 9 o'clock, start the debate. Don't delay the debate.
House price and drop both are ground.
Yo, I mean, many people are serious enough.
We have some general 50,000 new loans come out in the first term. Oh, I work in farmer, bro. How do you feel like? General, them set up plan and still for you. But they are taxi driver or barber and they sell 6 months they qualify into the market. Hey, yo, that's big. Yeah, man, but young people are trying to get a house first time homeowners qualify man under. I'll get 500,000 and 4,000 in the country. But you trying to walk around. Right. That means you own no house now. What on it? Brown man, yo.
True that.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party. The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
If you work long hours to keep Jamaica running, you deserve to take home every cent you earn. For too long, our police officers, firefighters, security guards, and hospitality workers have been taxed on their overtime and gratuity. That ends with the next PMP government.
EM Group, tonight we focus on the economy.
Yes.
Our moderator is George Davis.
Yes.
Welcome to the second of the political debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission and staged before a live studio audience. The debates are intended to assist in identifying, clarifying, and understanding the issues being presented in this.
The general elections.
This evening's debate focuses on the economy and is a team debate. Members of the panel of questioners are Andrea Chisholm, TVJ, Al Edwards, Our Today online financial magazine. Taking and presenting questions from the public is our social media editor, Amoy Harriet, CVM TV. I am your moderator, George Davis. As is customary, the audience is not to applaud the debaters, except for now, after we announce each team. For Team JLP, Dana Morris Dixon. For Team PNP, Julian Robinson. For the JLP, Faithful Williams. For the PNP, Keisha Anderson. And for the JLP, Chris Tufton.
And that girl that may keep my eye on, because I hear some things about her.
And for the PNP, Peter Bunting.
What's your dog walking?
The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted on the Debate Commission's website at www.jamaicadebatescommission.com. The guidelines include questions being no longer than 30 seconds and each team being allowed 90 seconds to respond to each question, and rebuttals are limited to 45 seconds. The questions posed in tonight's debate will come from two sources. The first source is you, the public. Send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. These will be checked, selected, and asked by our social media editor. The second source of questions is from our panel of journalists. Questions are not influenced by the Jamaica Debates Commission in any way. Providing sign language interpretation services this evening is Ms. Jane Lichmore, who teaches sign language at an international level and who previously provided sign language services on the former Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation and at Television Jamaica, and who also represented the Jamaica Association for the Deaf. Now, based on a previous coin toss, the first question tonight comes from Andrea Chisholm, and it will be directed to Team P.
Move the income tax threshold to $3.5 million starting April 2026 without any new taxes. How much will it cost? Is the timeline realistic? And which programs will be adjusted to accommodate the increase?
Question, Andrew. We are committed to implementing the 3.5 threshold starting April 2026. This will be funded from revenue growth, which currently, based on the 1% growth, is projected to generate an additional revenue of $140 billion over a 3-year period. Additionally, we expect within the envelope that exists in the budget has 4 main components. You have debt servicing, you have salaries and wages, you have the capital budget, and then you have the programmatic budget. As a political party, we would have our own priorities, and we will look at the programmatic budget and make adjustments there. But we will begin implementing the 3.5 million threshold April 2026. However, there are other programs that we have announced that once we assume office, we will immediately, within the envelope that exists for programs, see how we will implement them. For example, ensuring that every needy child gets a hot meal per day, the first in family who goes to university to have a full scholarship, and also the $500,000 grant, which will be given to young first-time owners. So we are going to ensure that we do this in a responsible way fiscally, without affecting the budget.
Thank you, Team PNP.
Oh, that was an excellent answer.
Lies, lies, lies. It cannot be done without imposing new taxes on the backs of Jamaicans. Your 3.5 is the biggest political scam since the history of Jamaica. It cannot be done. You were the people who said when we introduced the 1.5 that it couldn't be done. It would wreck the budget. How do you get from 1.5 to 3.5? It's 3.5 now, right? It used to be 2.3, 3.2, all over the place.
2.3? She don't know her facts. What you talking about? Okay,
right.
Favor, it came out strong,
Andrew
Favor.
would like to use the first of her 2 follow-up questions.
From 14 PMP, I did not hear the cost of the proposed increase in the threshold, nor the programs to be readjusted to accommodate the increase.
Cost of the increase in the threshold would be $55 billion. Now, no political party implements every single thing in 1 year. So we are going to ensure that the implementation is done, which protects the fiscal sacrifices that have been made, and will ensure that the adjustments are consistent with the budget. So it's $55 billion that this particular program will cost. And in terms of the readjustment of programs, that is something that we will do once we get into office. When we look, we have priorities which are different from the current government's priorities, and we will make those adjustments within the envelope of $360 billion, which currently exists for programs in the
Thank you,
budgets.
Team PNP. Team JLP, you have a rebuttal, 45 seconds.
Well, first of all, I think we have to be careful about what we hear from that side, because they have been flip-flopping on the issue of income tax threshold, and for some time,
A flip-flopper calling somebody a flip-flopper.
one thing,
Wow.
then he said he wasn't sure, then he said he wants to do another thing. The principle of
That sounds
increasing
good.
the threshold is something that is desirable. Let us be clear, because we did it. We were the ones who came with 1.5. We're moving now to 2.0. And indeed, we are the only government that have reduced taxes in several ways
That's
to
a lie.
benefit the Jamaican
That's a
people.
fuck. That's a
The
lie.
challenge is the practicality of their solution.
That's a lie.
This is a one-week
You have
proposal,
not
a
reduced
proposal
no
to
tax.
win
Thank you,
votes,
Team JLP.
which can't
Thank you.
work.
Inflation
Thank you,
has
Team
gone
JLP. Al, you get
Why
the
them
chance
carries
for
man
the
go
first
on
question of
debate
the evening
on
to Team
financial
JLP.
debate?
Hello, good evening. How do you do?
You know nothing about
On
economy.
Sunday, the JLP promised to reduce income tax to 15% over a phased basis if it secures a third term in government. This is estimated to cost the country around $135 billion.
What?
Where will the money come from to accomplish this, considering there is a
55 billion versus
projected to be a
135.
$35 billion deficit in the budget,
think
and
they're
given
doing
that
well
many
with the
people work in
55
the
billion.
underground economy?
Wow.
I'm not sure where that number came from. Our number, based on the technocrats who did it, put it at between 25 to 30 billion dollars. That's our number. That is doable. We are the party that did the 1.5 in a responsible way. We are the party that moved the threshold from 1.5 to 1.7 to 1.8. Next year it'll be 1.9 and then 2.0. We know how to handle the tax affairs, the revenue affairs of the country. And we are going to move with this in a responsible way over time, ensuring that we continue to give back to Jamaicans. You've seen us do the reverse income tax. You've seen us do a number of initiatives, all with the goal of ensuring that the Jamaican people get back monies in their pockets so that they can provide more for themselves and their families.
This administration has been very much the administration that's pragmatic. We have always said to Jamaica what can be done, and then we have done it. We did it with 1.5, and we're doing it again with 2.0, and also our other proposal in terms of 15% income tax. We never say what we cannot do, unlike
Thank you,
our
Team
opposition.
JLP. Thank you, Team PNP. Your rebuttal. 45 seconds.
I want to remind the country that the 1.5 that they boast about cost the country $31 billion in new taxes implemented by the Jamaica Labour Party. The Minister of Finance is saying her estimate is 25 to 30 billion. She's applying the same pro box maths that she said you can use $2,000 a month for buy a pro box. The most conservative estimate for their program to reduce the income tax rate is $68 billion. So where do you get your maths from? Tell the country, how will you finance it? Which programs will you cut? Where will the money come from?
Thank you, Team PNP.
Hold them, Julian. But Julian, I get warm, I know. Julian, I get warm, I know.
Thank you, George. Well, the first social media question tonight comes from Makita on
Hold them, Julian.
Jamaicans both at home and abroad work tirelessly to support their families and contribute to our economy. Yet high taxes and fees on barrels at the wharf, along with frustrating processes, make it difficult and costly for people sending goods home. If selected to serve, what specific and measurable actions would your party take to reduce these costs and simplify these processes?
Team PNP, 90 seconds.
Thank you. We note the developments in the U.S. and other territories as it relates to remittances, and we're observing the situation. We also note that for Jamaicans going to pick up money at agencies, the cost may increase. And that's why we want to encourage the opening of accounts, and with reduced due diligence requirements for these types of accounts, we think more Jamaicans should exercise that option. I think also, though, we want to take a deeper look at the fact that we're so reliant on remittances. At least 20% of our GDP is based on remittances. We need to find a way in the best interest of Jamaicans to have them earn more. And that's why Team PNP is looking at options to have our economy grow. We're looking at options in agriculture with the Agricultural Development Fund of 2.5 billion, where we want to teach our farmers smarter and more efficient ways to go about farming. We're looking at options in logistics. Given our position, we're ideally placed to offer logistic and trade facilitation. We also want to look at our BPOs and increase the value of the services that are offered through our BPOs by upskilling our workforce and training our young people in heart, etc., to do these things, which are the careers of the future, and not to stick to the careers that now exist.
No, she's good.
Team JLP, your 90 seconds. Well,
I see what they're saying. I see what they're saying. I see what they're saying. I see
Thank
what
you
they're
very
saying.
much. I'm not
Use
sure
her
if you
time
heard
pretty
the
wisely. Got her
same
point
question.
across.
I heard a
She was pretty
question
clear and
that was
cogent.
about
And that
our
actually
Jamaicans having to clear barrels at the port. And that has been a concern for some of our Jamaicans who do rely on their families overseas to help them. And we, as a country, have always benefited from our diaspora. And that's so much on our diaspora policy through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That has been very important. And on that matter, we have focused very much on creating efficiencies at the port. And that's important because we understand that we have a larger vision of Jamaica of becoming a logistics hub. We know that this can happen. It is something that the PMP talks quite well about, this logistics hub, but did nothing. We have been doing work to expand our port, to also improve efficiencies at the port. In addition to that, we have a new Customs Act. We didn't get to the Senate with it, but we took it through the House, which transforms a lot of the framework for our customs area. And so we are working. We understand the plight of our Jamaicans who depend on these. In terms of remittances, that's another area that's very, very important. And we have been doing a lot of our own lobbying in relation to remittances. We've not seen any fall off. We're very happy with our diaspora, and we continue to make it easy for people to benefit.
Time. Thank you very much. We'll now take a short break.
Should we use our time for the first question? She never really get in a remittance argument too good a while ago.
The Jamaica debates.
She never really get in a remittance argument. The question about remittances. Did she sound good on her answer for the first part, but the other part, it didn't work out at all. It didn't work out at all, may I tell her. But she sound good. She sound good. Me not bias. She sound convincing. Yeah, man, she sound convincing a while ago. Favor come out strong and a shout and a show dominance, but then when she just say lie, me like, Favor, can you articulate yourself, Favor, and tell us where's the lie? Where's the lie? You're not convinced me, say I like Julian Robinson tell. Because nobody no lie like you. We don't lie to each other. We don't lie to you. We don't go in a negotiations with people and money. We don't lie to them and make them feel like say, yo, yeah man, we soon start out, man. You know, say, yeah man. And then when they look, boop, 0% in them blouse and skirt. Boop.
The proceeding was paid for by
Sophia Val, I'm sorry.
The following is paid for by the People's National
I'm sorry, Sophia Val. You know, work out.
Keisha, why am I never saying another example?
This is my thing right so. I love this.
Hold on, Keisha, hold on.
What?
So you hear about the PNP first in the family program?
No, what is?
It's a program where the person in your family, if they attend college or university, you get a scholarship money.
But me already there college, that have nothing to do with me.
Keisha, calm down. Hold on. It no matter if you're already in college or if you're just at the start, you can still get it.
So does that mean that my little brother get to say that I made it?
Yep.
Definitely. You're going to be the first, but you definitely won't be the last.
That sounds good.
Sounds good. Keisha, that sounds great.
Exactly.
Where's someone?
It sounds like time come for truth.
Education is the bridge between struggle and opportunity. It is how we lift families and grow a modern economy.
Yeah man, the first in the family to go to college initiative is banging. And then this apart, rent to own initiative. Struggle. There's a Heart Academy was implemented by the PNP government in the 1970s. The JLP government changed the youth service to Heart Academy to train for hotels. Oh, your first time here, big up yourself, man. Welcome to the platform. Thanks for being here. You know what I mean? They are going to listen to the economic. Me like how I don't really hear Julian assert himself, but I love how he asserted himself in the debate. Him usually is a cool, calm talker. Yeah, man, but him really get on the favor skin in rebuttal. You see what I say? Right now, I don't know what going. It come like everybody was stand up. Everybody was stand up in our first part.
The proceeding was paid for by the
Everybody was stand up in our first part for JLP in our debate. Them are the weakest. Right now, believe it or not, so far, Christoph are the weakest link in the debate
You deserve
for
to
JLP.
every cent.
We can't get Dana Maristicks now fighting chance. Favor, she better than Christopher Tufton, but I'm going to do some fact checking, you know them, because she never really so much, but the fact that she asserted herself well and she was fluent, I have to give her props for that. So big up Favor. I don't know about Auntie, cause yeah, big up Favor, Miss Favor, Mrs. Favor. Yeah, Mrs. Favor, I think that's Mrs.
Your sacrifice should be rewarded, not taxed. It is time for fairness. It is time for respect. Jamaica, time comes for a better life.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Bank.
There comes a point in each person's life
only thing
where they
about
are tasked with an important decision.
Only thing.
A decision that may affect not only them, but also their country.
Where you say tie, me nah go around him. Me nah go around him. Me give PMP edge. But that was a good first
decision to keep things the way they are.
Edge, me nah like. Because you know, me like how the girl knock him and say, how much it gonna cost? And then break it down. But Favor the ball, Lord.
Decision
for them when I got task 30. Man, I say, the most conservative.
Welcome back to the Economy Debate presented by the Jamaica.
Yes, when my man the car with, I must see him Pro Box Max share use. Yeah, man, that did bad. That did knock her out. Me nah lie.
Ask Andrea Chisholm to start this segment with a question for Team JLP.
The public sector wage bill consumes close to 50% of tax revenues. The Independent Fiscal Commission has recommended the reintroduction of a cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP. But in March, the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament was told the cap was not being considered. Why was the recommendation ignored?
For the public sector wages, I know when you look back in history, there used to be it calculated as a percentage of GDP. With our current fiscal rules and our debt to GDP rule, those are the two kind of guardrails that we use on the budget to keep everything in line. If we do that, if we keep that focus on our debt to GDP and on our fiscal balance, then everything in the budget will align, and it would not be necessary. It has not been necessary to, keep a cap on the wage bill that way as a percentage of GDP. And as a matter of fact, one time in our history, it was done. When you look back, maybe it was only one time that ratio was ever reached. So there's good faith and confidence in the fiscal balance rules and the debt to GDP in order to help us to keep everything in line in the budget.
Can I also quickly say that this government has done the boldest move to reform and restructure the public sector. First of all, we had 300 different salaries packages, 180 different allowances were consolidated into 16, and it has taken time. We need that time to sort that out.
Jamaica's tax burden at 29% of GDP is the highest in the region. Our middle class has been hollowed out by a generation of belt tightening. It is time that our nurses, our teachers, our police officers, our public servants get to enjoy some of the benefits of years of tight fiscal management. It can't always be that when it comes time for the people to benefit, we are talking about managing fiscal rules, etc. We will observe the fiscal rules, but we believe we must do a social transformation for the people.
Time, thank you very much. Question for Team PNP, Al.
That was solid from Peter Bunting.
The high interest rates, FinSec era was devastating for the Jamaican economy. A World Bank debt management paper dated 21/12/2001 reads in part, the ensuing rapid growth of FinSec debt worsened as interest rates continued to rise, leading to a stock debt of $142 billion as of March 2001. That's about 43% of GDP. This added to an already large pre-crisis public debt burden of more than 100% of GDP, leading to an unsustainable debt path. That period also decimated the generation of local entrepreneurs, so much so that a generation later, many are still reticent to invest in the productive sector. What guarantee can you give under your administration that Jamaica will never see history repeating itself, and how do you intend to honor that guarantee? Well, what we have to ensure is that the agencies that have responsibility for managing and regulating the financial services sector are actually manned by individuals who are competent and professional. The Bank of Jamaica, the Financial Services Commission, ensuring the BOJ now is an independent agency that has a responsibility for managing interest rates and primarily inflation. At the time when FinSac took place, the government intervened to ensure that all depositors got back their money. What we want to see is the FinSac report published. The country spent $150 million on a FinSac commission, and now we can't get the report. We want the FinSac report out. And while you are at it, we will publish the SSL report because we noticed that depositors have gotten $2. If them did have $100 and there's only $2 them get back. But the most honorable Prime Minister got all his money out of SSL before it collapsed. That is what justice means. We will publish the SSL report, and it is a failure on their part that after all these years, given the impact of FinSac, that there is no report, no independent report. What we have seen is drips and drabs being leaked out by that side. So when we talk about FinSac, let's get all the facts on the table and release the core report from SSL.
Time up.
No. Julian Robinson alone had destroyed them in the debate.
As if they're ignorant.
You don't need no partner.
When some on that very side were involved during the FinSac period and benefited. Just recall the 40-40-40. You mentioned it. 40% of GDP to recover from FinSac. 40,000 businesses lost their money. 40% being offered by merchant banks to make a profit. And DB&G made on average 40% return on their investments, which one of the principles sits across me right here. They cannot talk about fiscal discipline. They cannot talk about management and economy.
Go through
they presided over the FinSac era. They drove people in some instances to commit suicide based on news reports. They have no moral authority and certainly no economic management, and they are still there. The Jamaican people cannot trust them.
Thank you, time.
No, tough time. Go on with yourself. I'll lie, Mattel. Go on with yourself.
The JLP government has presided over macroeconomic stability. Public debt has come from over 140% of GDP in 2013 to 70% in fiscal year 24-25. Unemployment now stands at just 3.3%. According to Statin, as of July this year, Jamaica's annual headline inflation rate stood at 3.3%. The Bank of Jamaica says as of August 12, 2025, Jamaica's gross international reserves stood at US $6.2 billion. The World Bank, the IMF, the rating agencies all commend Jamaica for this economic performance. How will a PNP government build upon and improve this trajectory? I think it's important to set context for the question that you have asked. When they left office in 2011, the country was on the precipice of economic collapse. When we got in 2012, we had to restore Jamaica's credibility. We had to establish EPOC. We strengthened and enhanced the fiscal rules. We legislated the debt to GDP ratio so that any government, PMP or JLP, had to pay down that debt.
Yes.
Portia Simpson Miller and Peter Phillips started that race. We passed the button. We are the persons responsible for the fiscal responsibility that exists today, and we will continue that. when we get into office again.
Time, thank
Tell
you.
them,
Team JLP, you
Julian.
have 45 seconds.
I am
Julian
so
just
glad
killed
that
Christopher
you
Tufton a while
named
ago.
all of those improvements that we've had in our economy. When the PNP was in government, they took a wrecking ball to our economy, and that's a fact. When we took office 9 years ago, we saw high unemployment, we saw high debt, we saw high crime too, and we saw failing infrastructure.
Really?
And this administration got to work, working on all of
Dora,
those
yes,
areas.
me like the emotion,
The PNP does not
but the
know
facts
how
are
to
not
be
easy.
fiscally responsible. And we have seen that in our history time and time again. And so the data is there. The data shows the Jamaica Labour Party knows how to do it.
Time. Let's take a question from social media. Amoy?
Well, George, this question comes from Facebook. Nikisha is asking, many schools are without basic resources, and as such, some schools are asking parents to contribute certain resources, whether it be in cash or kind. Seeing that economically parents are struggling to pay school fees and meet other needs, how will your administration, if elected, resolve this issue so there will be an ease on parents' pockets?
Team JLP?
Thank you for that question, and we definitely understand the burden that a lot of our parents feel. And it is for that reason that we have focused quite a bit on how we can get our children to school. Let me give you some realities from going around to our schools, especially in rural areas. When I go to school on a Friday, classes are sometimes half empty. When you ask our teachers why, they say money ran out. What keeps them at home? High transportation costs and also the high cost of lunch. And that's what we have decided to focus on. The rural school bus system is precisely because of that. I had one mother in St. Thomas say to me, it costs her $1,200 a day to send one of her children to school, and that it is so expensive that she ends up having to choose which one goes to school sometimes. We cannot have a country like that. In addition to that, in terms of our meals, we have expanded meals to 5 days a week for those on path who need it the most. In addition to that, we're now going to be adding breakfast to our students in our schools that are the most.
So let us take away the idea.
On the backs of the hard work of Minister Williams and the Minister of Finance team. We understand the costs, and we're working hard, including in providing more books in the public sector so that our parents can have less of a burden.
Time, Team PNP, your 90 seconds.
Chris, you're correct that DBNG was a very successful company, and it was a publicly listed company that our audited financial statements were open to the public. So everyone knows where Peter Bunting and Mark Golding got their wealth from. You and your Prime Minister cannot say the same. Now, in terms of our arrangements for public transportation, particularly rural school transportation, that school bus system was a political gimmick. We cannot be buying new trucks to transport garbage, and we're buying 15-year-old buses to transport our most precious cargo, our children. That was just an opportunity for somebody to eat our food. Let us be clear about that. It was totally unsuitable. In deep rural communities, we cannot afford parallel transportation systems, a school bus and a system for adults. So what we have proposed is a subsidy of $10,000 per month per child for those parents who need it, for those children who are unable to attend school 5 days a week. What we have proposed is a hot meal every day for those children who need it. That is real progress.
I'm surprised too, Peter, that the Minister of Education is speaking as if she didn't know all of this.
Time. Andrea, your question for Team JLP.
The requirement for a 12-year experience in law enforcement was removed from the January 2025 job advertisement for the position of Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division. Why was the law enforcement requirement removed?
Yes, tell us.
I want to make it clear that on the job description for the head of the
FID.
Yes. There are a number of different qualifications that an applicant could have. There were at least 6 different skill set that applicant could have.
Okay.
When the whole process of going through recruiting was done outside of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
Yes.
And they went through a very public recruitment process. The job was advertised, interviewed. No one qualified to be accepted. Normally, in the course of advertising for jobs, if you go out twice, and you see that you're not getting the skill set, the particular skill set, and the job description allows you to be flexible, then obviously, as a responsible HR person looking to fill the position, then you would do that. That is what was done. There's nothing underhanded about it. It's all transparent. And we have a very competent person heading the FID currently. And I look forward to continuing
Team PNP, your rebuttal.
This is not true. I know as a certain fact that senior police officers with investigative experience for many years who have coordinated international investigations, who have headed the intelligence bureau, they applied for the job and they were turned down. The truth of the matter is it was a set hand. Dennis Strong applied for the job when he said he saw nothing wrong with in the Integrity Commission report. There were clear red flags for money laundering, cash from undisclosed depositors deposited to the Prime Minister's personal account. 470 billion flowing through multiple accounts. That's called layering. These were clear red flags.
Thank you very much. Time. Al, your question for Team PNP.
A look at MSMEs. Many people looking to fund a business in Jamaica bemoan the strangulating red tape and lack of access to finance from lending institutions. In the new century, we're seeing the rise of new types of businesses, young people into digital technology, the creative and services sector. Harold Davis of Jamaica Business Development Corporation makes the point that access to finance has 2 sides of the coin, and that it's appropriateness of the financial product that is available. And when I say appropriateness, I speak of the product that is right for the particular industry or the particular stage of business of the entrepreneur. What will you do to address this and better help small businesses in Jamaica?
We wholeheartedly agree. As a matter of fact, as a former CEO of a financial institution in Jamaica, I can say it's a problem that we struggled with in the absence of government having adequate policy and facilities to make it happen. We will, as an ex-PNP administration, ensure that we revisit the loan processes for our MSMEs. We recognize that they're an important part of the engine of growth for the economy, and we recognize their struggles. We note that we would have to help them with some amount of business planning. We'd have to help them to get themselves ready to borrow. But it's a win-win situation. When they borrow, they're able to grow. When they grow, they're able to contribute to the economy, and we will be able to get tax revenues from them. So it's very important for us to have our MSMEs grow, and to also encourage young entrepreneurs in the economy to participate.
What we are going to do is remove income tax for MSMEs for the first 3 years. Why are we doing this? The reason MSMEs remain informal is because they don't want to pay tax. But remaining informal limits their growth because they can only get money from friends and families and a partner draw. So by removing the income tax for the first 3 years, they can formalize, they can grow, they can access bank, equity funding. That is what we are doing to grow the MSME sector.
Thank you. Thank you, Team JLP.
PNP sharp.
That's a good talk. but in reality, that's not the fact. 2015, 8,000 companies were registered with the Company Office. 2024, 23,000 companies, twice that number. The fact is, Jamaicans are more energized to form companies, to come out of the informal sector. DBJ over that 8-year period loaned almost $70 billion US, 117 billion of investments, 86,000 applicants. That is why our economy has started to turn around. And I want to say to Peter that he must be careful about innuendos, hearsays, and propaganda. First of all, your FinSac era, I don't know how you're comfortable with it. The Contractor General at the time accused you of sweetheart dealings, you and your partners.
Time, thank you. Time,
now say that you earn your money in a way.
Watch out. Watch your disrespect. Watch out. Hey, you lose. Oh, he just had a meltdown. Christopher Tucker just had a meltdown.
TikTok. The user who
it's over,
sent in this question is Kamar Jackson.
It's over.
Under the current administration, brain drain has become an increasingly pressing issue, negatively impacting our economy. Considering the various causes of this trend, such as limited employment opportunities, inadequate compensation, and governance concerns, what specific strategies and reforms would your government implement to address the key drivers of this problem and ensure the retention of skilled professionals?
Team JLP.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much for that question, Cameron Jackson.
Not for me.
That area of brain drain has been an issue for a long time. I saw it. I left university in 2001, and most of my classmates left this country because they didn't feel there was an opportunity. And it's for that reason why we focused a lot of our policies, and if you look in our manifesto, there's a huge section for young people, because we believe in a few things. We believe that every young person, as they've told us,
debate is
wants
fire,
to
man.
own a home one day. And that's why we have allocated 15% of every NHT house built to our young people who are under 35. We're also increasing employment. 280,000 more young people have been brought into the labor force. We're providing jobs, and we're looking for higher paying ones through the work that we're doing in terms of training our people. 500,000 young people have been trained since 2020 at heart, and we're going to continue doing that.
In addition to that, let me remind Jamaica that it is this government that has brought unemployment to its lowest level ever.
Oh, bro,
in fact, the
shut up.
participation rate in the job market is 68%, the highest it has ever been.
My God.
Under their watch, people lost jobs. They borrowed and spent.
This guy is really a PR guy.
Spend. Under this government, no new taxes and jobs have been created. This is a more responsible government, and the future of young people are bright with the JLP.
Thank you. Team PNP, your 90 seconds to answer the question.
Raising the tax threshold to 3.5 million, the tax-free threshold to 3.5 million, is one of the most fundamental and revolutionary things we can do to retain our best and brightest. As I said, this is a manifesto that we've put forward, not just about a campaign for the next election. This is about the next generation. We want to ensure that our teachers, our nurses, our police officers can provide for their families in the way they should. We want to rebuild the working class and the middle class. We want to ensure that buying a house, buying a car, aspiring to improve, to lift your whole generation is not merely a dream. So yes, what we have proposed is radical, it's transformational, it's going to require a shaking up and a reordering of all the priorities of government. That's not accidental. We're working for a social revolution. People are not going to elect a new government to do the same thing that the outgoing one is elected to do.
When I hear them speak, I wonder which young people they're speaking about. When I speak to young people, they tell me they have no hope of owning a home. With the NHT limit being raised to 9 million, the problem is that the houses cost 40 million. There's no hope.
Time, Mr. Sanders, time.
Nice point, man.
We now take a short break and invite you.
I wish Peter Bunting I wish Peter Bunting actually did give her more time. That girl is she is the Raymond Price of this team. You understand what I'm saying? Julian is the Damian Crawford. You feel me I deal with? No, you know, I don't know that. Yeah. Julian is the Damian Crawford. Peter Bunting is Peter Bunting. I couldn't say that Peter Bunting is the character, debate style-wise, as the girl, the lady Sophia Fraser been. She, to me, was more. She had more emotion behind what she's saying, right? Julian has come out of his shell where that is concerned, because I don't really see Julian get riled up, but he was riled up a few times in this debate. You know, he showed raw emotion. Julian is usually cool, calm, and collected. Mr. Robinson. The girl, she is a robot. She's a debate robot. She's deadly. That girl is deadly. You understand what I say? She is deadly. But they could have had Julian Robinson alone debate all three of them. Literally. They could have done that. I saw, you know, me like how Tufton get emotional and I try to, you know, tell a lie them, but it's a debate, so you have to use what you have to use. You have to fact check afterwards. No. Yeah. You see me? But it's a good debate so far, very competitive, but boy, the way how Faithful Williams deal with that question there. But the FID, rough. That was the end of the debate. Honestly, that was the end of the debate. She was bug shuffling. She never really knew what she has to say. Like, she failed miserably. That created more separation. The PNP was already leading, you know. But that created more separation in the debate, in my opinion. When Faithful Williams had attempted to answer the FID question of why the thing was removed, she never answered it. She just tried to defend that it's not a corrupt move, but she never answered why them remove the qualifications, as if an investigative the head of an investigative body doesn't need somebody that has some experience in doing investigations, right? Criminal investigation, money laundering, and all of those things. Possibly money laundering and all of those things. You need people that actually know how to investigate. Investigation is a instinctual thing, you know. You understand what I say? Yeah, it's an instinctual thing. But the PNP is leading heavily in this one. I'm sorry. Faithful failed. Faithful failed. Missy Dana, Missy what's your name? Dana Morris Dix not try all I want, and Missy Tufton I get fired up. Fired up! Yo, Tufton outfit. Tufton had a meltdown. Yo, Tufton had a meltdown. That's crazy.
50,000 new law income houses not the
That's
first
crazy.
term. But my work informal, bro. I don't feel like you work for me. General, them set a plan just for you. But they are taxi driver or barber like yourself. 6 months rent to qualify you for your mortgage.
All like people them where don't have a PS stub and them something. Them man, listen man.
Get a house for the first time.
Listen
first time
man.
own owners 45 and under. I'll get 500,000 grand to
Yeah, deaf. Who is 45-year-old online I place? 500,000 in a millionaire. Pay down for your house, you know. Yo, that's a grant. That's not something you're gonna pay back, yeah? NHD houses, man.
The
What?
proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party.
Let me tell you something. I'm getting one of them houses, boy.
There comes a point.
Yes,
in each
I'm getting one of them
person's
houses.
life where they are tasked with an important decision.
Facts.
A decision that may affect
I've been paying
not
NHD
only
for
them,
far too long.
but also their country.
Welcome back to the Economy Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Send them to Jamaica Debates. We'll now ask Andrea to start this segment with a question for Team PNP.
Described the 0% in year one as an insult to public sector workers. The party says they have looked at the budget and fiscal policy paper and will do better for the public sector workers if elected. What percentage increase would a PNP administration propose?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say, we are going to treat public sector workers with respect and dignity. I won't talk to the JTA president like the Minister of Education and say him performing at his conference. That is disrespect. Disrespect is when you need to get a meeting, you have to get restive and threaten strike action. The fiscal policy paper has, in its first year, 9%. In the second year, 6%. In the third year, 6%. They have offered 0. That is not an offer. We will do better. But by lifting the income tax threshold to 3.5 million, we are easing the pressure. We easing the pressure on our nurses. We easing the pressure on our policemen. We easing the pressure so that more money will be in their pockets. They have a history of dealing with civil servants with disrespect. You right now have 2 sets of civil servants in the same office doing the same thing and earning different salaries. A whole set of anomalies that arose from the public sector compensation review. They haven't addressed it. There's supposed to be a meeting tomorrow with the JCTU and you cancel it. They are the ones who treat them with disrespect. We have a history of working with our public sector in the interest of this country, and we will continue to do so. So when we come into office, it will be better than 0% because there is money in the budget to provide better for public servants.
Tell them, Julian.
Team JP.
That was a solid answer, my brother. Solid.
This is a government that has given the public sector the largest wage increase in the history of Jamaica.
That is so disingenuous.
What did the public sector know under the PNP? Wage freeze after wage freeze after wage freeze. We are committed to continue negotiating with our unions. Negotiation is a process. We still remain at the table. Our Prime Minister has indicated that we will get to a point that is satisfactory for the public sector workers and for Jamaica as a whole.
Low battery, please charge.
Thank you. Al, your question to Team JLP.
In fiscal year 2013-14, the then Minister of Finance, Peter Phillips, balanced the budget. Minister Phillips met the targets for the primary surplus and the budget deficit. The JLP said at the time, including you, Minister Williams, that the then PNP government was preoccupied with the administration, that it is preoccupied with reducing the debt instead of growing the economy and passing the people's test.
We are passing the people's tests. If you look at what we have done, what we have achieved, all that we have achieved, we have done it for the people of Jamaica. Look at roads, look at new jobs created, look at the level of inflation, look at the number of houses that are being built. We are going gangbusters. Every day we wake up, it is to grow the economy. During our administration, we have grown the economy. We have had 33 quarters of growth, interrupted only by COVID and by Hurricane Beryl. We wake up every day to ensure that this economy expands so that there are opportunities for our men and women in the society.
When we speak of the people's test, all these nice economic jargon about GDP and debt to GDP ratio and all of that don't mean anything to the ordinary person, to most of our Jamaicans. What they think about is how is everything that we're doing affecting the quality of their life. We're giving more water. 350,000 more people have water, 280,000 more jobs created. We are improving the quality of life of our people.
Team PNP, your bottom.
What I want to ask every Jamaican, is your life better? Can you afford the same things you used to be able to afford? Do you have to choose between paying your utilities, buying food, or buying medication? Is your life better?
The lived reality, notwithstanding the macroeconomic numbers.
PNP is killing it. Boy, it's over, bro. This is bad.
When you go to
this was competitive 10 minutes ago.
You have to put it back. If you suffer the misfortune of going to a hospital, you have to sit down on one chair for 2 or 3 days. And what we have seen at Cornwall Regional, it moved from 1.5 billion to 25 billion. That is the waste that we will eliminate so we can put money back in the hands of the Jamaican
Thank you very much.
Oh, you mean
I would
Julian?
like to use the second
Yeah,
and final
not
follow-up
dirty batty
question.
Jerry. Yeah,
According to the World Bank, the Jamaican economy average annual growth of the last decade is around 0.8%. Why is this? And what will you do to get it to around 5%?
Thanks for that question. Thanks for that question on growth. There have been many impediments to growth, and we have seen that documented in many places. If you look at the impediments, they include training, and we're doing that, 500,000 trained. Another impediment to growth is the high electricity cost, and we have taken the decision to not continue on that bad JPS contract because we know we need to have lower electricity costs. In addition to that, infrastructure is another impediment to growth, and that's why we've spent so much money on fixing our roads, providing internet access across this country, and improving our investments in technology. We understand that in order to bring the growth rate up, we are going to have to do these things.
You have 45 seconds.
What they haven't spoken about is how corruption has impacted that growth.
Let them know.
Our foreign direct investment has moved from 900 million in 2015 to 300 million today. That's 11 of them are under investigation for illicit enrichment. I, Julian J. Robinson, can categorically state, I am not under investigation. Can the three of you say that? We need growth. We understand the assignment now. We have consolidated our economy. We have to improve the outcomes in education, which have been poor. You talk about energy. It took you 8 years to put out a request for proposal for renewables. Why? Because of the corruption at the Ministry of Education, where you see 4 ministers over 8 years.
Damn. No, Julian, listen, man.
Social media, Amoy.
Listen, man.
All right, so we're
Julian
on TikTok, and I'm
is
seeing a
on
question
fire.
here from Joe.
Damn.
Policies often target low-income earners, while high-income earners are generally believed to be able to manage on their own. What in your plans directly supports middle-income Jamaicans who are caught in the squeeze?
Team PNP.
So the contrast between the JLP's approach of reducing the income tax rate for everyone.
Yeah, man, Julian now left no stone unturned for true, man.
Lifting the threshold
wicked.
is a prime example of that.
Nah, tell no lie, Julian.
The cabinet ministers and the prime ministers will benefit the most from the reduction in the rate of income tax. Police officers, nurses, doctors, security guards, public servants, those who are at the rank and file of the police level, everyone who earns under 3.5 million will be the major beneficiaries of our program. That is what differentiates our approach from theirs. They talk about prosperity. It's prosperity for them and their cronies. When we talk about putting people at the center of our policies and programs, it's because we want to lift everyone. We want to lift those at the bottom. We want to build out the middle class. We want education to become a bridge from one generation to another to move them to another level in society.
And we will continue to lift the standards of the majority of the Jamaican people. The income tax threshold, we're going to remove tax on overtime so that our security guards, our nurses will get a break and you put more money in your pockets.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
The PNP does not understand how the economy works. First of all, they talk about our performance. Our performance we're very proud of. We created the lowest poverty rate in the country on record. We created more jobs with more participation in the economy on record. And while we're doing that, we are building out new industries in digital technology, in our port facilities, for logistics hub, as well as maintaining and building on the traditional industries that are there. Most persons in Jamaica today, young persons who have a skill, can find a job. That was not the case under the People's National Party. And I want to just come back to this issue of corruption, because they seem to think that they can speak about things in mid-air without any evidence, innuendos and suppositions, as if people are going to accept that. What the Jamaican people want is who is going to look after them, who will bring down crime. Peter Bunting depended on divine intervention without work. In fact, he is on record, I believe, as the only Minister of National Security who was unable to secure himself. And I am happy he's okay from that unfortunate incident in Portland. But it speaks to confidence in their policy to reduce crime. This government has reduced crime by 30, the lowest over 30 years. And this is what Jamaicans want. They felt unsafe under the PNP. They feel a lot safer under the Jamaican Labour Party.
Mr. Tufton,
why am I trying?
We now take a short break and invite you to stay tuned.
No.
The general elections debates are presented by the...
No. Hold on. Hey, yo, big up the people and yo, Splash, did you big up yourself? Nah, I mean, big up the people in Bolo VNR 2.0, alright? Well, Bolo VNR 2.0. Me dey live on the two of them, we dey on StreamYard and we dey on regular. But here we are going. Right now, Tufton a try, you know. No, nah, lie, I'm try. And this is a better debate team than the last one of them put out. Favor let them down. Favor let them down 2 times. Bad. They can do a fact checking and everything. But me talk about in terms of the fluency of them responses and stuff like that, just off of that alone, them try hold them on. But mighty God, why Julian affair deal with them so? Julian Robinson is on fire in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody tests. When me say nobody tests, me mean nobody tests. Julian Robinson is on fire. The man could have single-handedly do this debate and debate every single one of them. Yo, the man terrible, brother. Yo, Splash the General, say, man, I deal with the thing, my general. He man sharp like a guillotine. Will he answer them? Who and Julian Robinson? And you know, say this man, you know, say Tufton feel. Tufton, let me tell you why you feel. You get emotional. And him still can't let it go, you know. Tufton still a hold on pan the corruption thing. You notice how much time him address it 3 times already. Tufton feel, man. Tufton get emotional, man. They can't get emotional. Can't show that. You see what I say? But let's continue.
To good governance.
If I were in your position, I would take for myself and hand over to someone else who is not compromised.
We choose a Jamaica that is run democratically, not autocratically. We choose a Jamaica where...
Why? We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help.
Like me,
shift the parliament.
Truly want a better
shiftings are going
Jamaicans, not just a few.
They got to go. They got to go.
To choose change for yourself, for your family.
They got to go. They got to go. Yeah, man, big up the people that check in. You know what I'm saying? Go for yourself.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Hey, talk truth, the man there. Yo, let me tell you, man, you know what I got funny? What I got funny when they do fact checking. Because, me I tell you, yo, me just a wait, you know.
We must.
Because I want to lie until the first day. When me know I can identify for myself. And I'm not a political savant. You feel me? I deal with we just learn quick. And we there if you look while and I deal with the thing. And we know something because we read something. And the facts them there about the thing.
This is about more than healthcare.
But
it is about
me just a wait, man.
Dignity.
Because me hear Dufton a quote one bunch of numbers, you know. This percentage and that there so. And just I say it fast. I say it fast. And they come like say you a real thing. So me don't know.
Jamaica, time come for a better life.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party. The following is...
May I tell you, Blooms? Yeah, man. I really think, man.
If you work long hours...
But this debate has been a better debate than the previous one. No, they wanna get the one before this, they wanna get a worse beating. Me not tell no lie. To me, To me, because we could have identified the lie them. But then when I tell, so to me, so nobody kill me for that, you know. I'm not saying that this team is better, the first team is better than this team. But no, seriously. Raymond Price is cold-blooded. Like, in the on another level. Even the lady where they are so now, she is not as cold as Raymond Price, but she's in the same hemisphere in terms of debate. When it comes to how she does drop all of the things that she has said, clear, cogent, you know what I mean, believable. Yeah.
The general election economy debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Send them to Jamaica Debates. We now ask Andrea to start the final segment with a question for Team JLP.
The central bank has cut its policy interest rate from 7% in July 2024 to 5.75% in August 2025. The regulator has been pleading with the banks, the commercial banks, to further reduce lending rates, but it's not happening fast enough. What will your administration do to further pressure banks to cut their lending rates?
So we are seeing interest rates come down, and we're getting early signs that the rates to borrowers is also coming down. Just recently, I was speaking to the DBJ. You know that the DBJ on-lends to the banks to lend to our MSMEs, and DBJ reported that they are seeing lower rates in the marketplace from banks. As the Bank of Jamaica bring rates down, which it will, we fully expect that our borrowers are going to begin to see lower rates in the marketplace on the various loans.
I think that the reforms that are taking place within the banking sector, the independent central bank, which has to drive this issue, that's why we supported the independence of the central bank and competition. What we have been working on, but I do agree we need to work on it more, and this is for the next administration, is to make it easier for someone to move their account from one bank to the next. We believe ultimately in the market, within reason, of course, with a regulatory framework, not like them who allowed an attempt at liberalization that drove us into FINSA.
Thank you, Team PNP.
Before the break, Chris had the gall of claiming success with crime. The fact is that more Jamaicans have been murdered under this JLP administration. Almost 13,000 murdered in their 2 terms than in any other 2 terms in the history of Jamaica. That is failure, not success. We commend the police for the job they've been doing this year in reducing it, but you can't take credit for that. That's despite your failed SOE policies.
What we will do to ensure that the banking sector is more competitive, we are going to ensure government deposits. There's a system to ensure that all banks participate in government deposits.
Thank you.
The former CEO, Grace Kennedy, the late Don Webby, consistently called on Jamaica to reduce its food importation bill by half by 2030. Given that Jamaica spends around $1 billion a year on imported food, and according to the FAO, Jamaica's food imports account for approximately 21% of its total merchandise imports, what will your government be doing to reduce the food importation in a meaningful way?
Under
this is one good one.
The JLP administration, the imported food cost has doubled. It was $800 million US 10 years ago. It is now $1.6 billion. That 800 million US dollars, or about 150 billion Jamaican dollars, should be going into the pockets of the farmers of South Manchester, South St. Elizabeth, and farmers all over Jamaica. We have committed to forming an agricultural development fund. This is going to ensure that we inject new technology, new machinery into our farming communities. It's going to ensure that we put adequate post-harvest storage and processing facilities in place to reduce the 30% or more that's lost. We are going to ensure that funding is available for our farmers.
And we commit to the Jamaican people and to the farmers of Jamaica to reduce importation by 25% in our first term. We also commit to helping farmers access financing at more affordable rates and terms. We also commit to helping them with products such as insurance to ensure that when natural disasters hit, the impact to them for recovery is not as high.
Damn, they finished that question with 4 seconds left.
First of all, there is a need to do more to develop our local industry for self-sufficiency, but also for export. The fact is, this government has done a lot. In fact, if you look at the last 8 years on domestic export has gone up by some 31%. What it means is that more local companies within a much friendlier environment are in fact producing and exporting. But it is a fact that we are importing more at the same time. That is simple. We have an economy that affords the capacity to demand more. We have a thriving tourism industry and we have a consumer who is earning more. This will contribute to a greater demand. It's a process, but it's also a sign of success.
Thank you. So basically, he must say, you have more money if you spend, so then it's a spend loose.
Major platforms such as Meta, Google, and TikTok are earning money and data from the Jamaican economy, but they are not paying taxes in Jamaica. What policy changes will your administration pursue to ensure that Jamaica directly collects taxes from these platforms?
So we recognize that those companies that you mentioned are not paying tax to the Jamaican government. We have our tax entities in conversation with these entities to ensure that the Jamaican people get their fair share of taxes from these companies. We sit on some of the international bodies that look at taxes across different countries to ensure that there's fairness in what's being done. And I know that we will pursue it vigorously to ensure that Jamaica is not left out as these companies thrive on our data.
The answer question in blank
is that a lot of our young people are using these platforms. I know recently I saw someone on TikTok selling some nice products that I thought about buying. So our young people are using these platforms very well and they're creating content that is absolutely amazing. And so we have the tax side that the minister has said that we're looking at in a more multilateral kind of approach, as we tend to do as Jamaicans. But also, there are also other concerns too in relation to artificial intelligence. They're using a lot of our creative energy. They're using our music. They're using our cultural ideas. And those are going into AI programs. And that's something we have to look at.
Rebuttal, Team PNP.
It's clear that there's no policy to deal with this. This is where we have to work with our CARICOM states to develop a common policy. Why? Because these are large multinationals. Their GDP would dwarf the entire Caribbean region. And so it requires some consensus among the region to ensure that you implement a policy which every country agrees to and that you can stand the test of time. We recognize the importance of our creatives. That's why we are establishing a $1 billion fund. Not like the film fund that has disbursed zero, but a $1 billion fund for creatives, for artists or singers or potters, the people who create content so they can build their businesses.
Thank you. Social media.
The bonfire
social media platform X, Sean from Kingston says free healthcare means little. Hospitals don't have CT machines, X-rays, or even basic supplies. What short-term financial measures will you take within the first 2 years, if you win, to fix these shortages and ensure patients can actually access proper care?
Team PNP, you go first.
You know, I really wanted the Minister of Health to focus on these issues, but him seem more preoccupied with dealing with FinSac and other people's business. Because if he spent more time dealing with Cornwall Regional, we wouldn't have a $25 billion overall. If he spent more time dealing with the hospital sector, when people go there, they wouldn't have to sit on a wooden chair for 3 days. And when them have to do an MRI or CT scan, them have to pay $50,000 for go. And the same ambulance for take them have to pay for it too. And them can't get toilet paper in the hospital. Our health sector is failing despite the amount of money we have spent.
Go with the drill, go with the drill.
It is the inefficiency of the Jamaica Labour Party why we are here. We are going to ensure the dignity of Jamaicans who have to traverse our public health system. They have been failed by this administration, and that is why we are committed to ensuring that monies which come into the coffers go for the benefit. So when we look on the drill and we drill down, it shouldn't cost $31 million for a $3 million drill. Because what does that do? When you go to the hospital, you have to pay now. Based on that wastage, that corruption, and that inefficiency.
No, look at
What can go so, Jamaica? How can you feel comfortable?
There are currently no CT scan or MRI services available at Mandeville Regional Hospital because the private providers have not been paid.
Time.
No. Wait, come on.
Let me just start by saying I was the one in 2015 who said we had to use garbage bags as aprons or cut a soap in two. That is their spokesperson of health who spoke about the crisis in the system. So we have come a long way and we started from a very low base. It is incorrect to say we don't have CT scan, just to say to your social media person. We have CT scan, we have MRIs. In fact, we have more digital machines in our health system than any time before. We need more.
What
but we have done better than the PNP up to 2015 when they were there.
You man does still one bag of lie a while ago, but it's so convincing still.
I have more time. Let me also say, because I have a lot to say, that we have embarked on the largest expansion of hospital build-out than any other government since independence.
That does mean you spend more money. What about the effectiveness and the efficiency?
Since independence.
That don't mean
we have hired over, we have put in our establishment over 3,000 doctors and nurses.
That is it.
Double the numbers of community.
Why the travel advisory say what you say?
Last year, we served up 3 million prescriptions to Jamaicans on the National Health Fund. In their 2015 year, they did less than 1 million. The facts are that more Jamaicans are being served by our health system. Do we need to do more? I am the first to say yes, which is why we need the next term to complete the work that we are doing. They talk about the issue, they did nothing. As far as corruption is concerned, that's innuendos and talk. No proof of that. And I condemn them for that kind of position.
Time. Thank you. All right. We're at that segment at that point in the debate where we allow
if God was like man,
ask a question of the other. Yeah. So we're gonna start with
lying lips is an abomination.
Posing a question to Team Pin.
Then they call dirty body Jerry.
Thank you. It is our considered that the 3.5 million threshold increase that was recently announced is nothing but a Sam 5 political scam. In the beginning it was 2.1, then it became 3, then it disappeared, and then it appeared 1 week before an election. You have to tell the people of Jamaica, I ask you to tell the people of Jamaica, is this just an election scam, or is it that you are going to be cutting much needed services such as NHF, where we spend $19 billion for drugs in hospitals, or university spending, which is $17 billion. Tell us how you plan to really cut discretionary areas, as you have called them.
I answered the question already, but I'm going to answer it again for the Jamaican people. I have said we are going to raise the threshold to $3.5 million. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that because your budget says that $140 billion of additional government revenues will be earned over 3 years. But that is at your 1% growth, which you have no ambition on. We're going to grow the economy by more than that so that we can pay for these things. There's also a benefit when you put more money in the hands of people because they're going to spend it, which will allow the government to collect more on GCT and other indirect taxes. We are the party committed to ensuring that all Jamaicans thrive and not just a few. Our plan is better. It is more equitable. Their plan will benefit the richer people more. Ours will benefit the working people, our nurses, our policemen, the security guards, the civil servants, to put more money to ease the pressure of the cost of living that they have to face. That is our commitment as a party of social justice and equality. So when you talk about Samfire, what Samfire you're talking about? Madness you're talking about? We will deliver on behalf of the Jamaican people. We have a history of protecting our most vulnerable and ensuring that they have more money to spend so that they can protect their families and those around them.
That is it.
Time, JLP, you have a 45 seconds.
Sure.
Jamaicans, the 3.5 million threshold is the largest political scam. They cannot tell you how they're going to fund it. They look at the current budget, they see the projections growing to 140 billion, but they don't tell you that expenses are also growing. So that's not available for you to use towards the 3.5. And you also put out an ad showing how much people are going to get on a monthly basis. You know that's a lie. They may get it for 1 month, but it's not going to be there. The 3.5 that you're talking about cannot be done.
Thank you. Time.
Why they make you answer that question?
Question to Team J.
No, they might lose bad now.
How can you be trusted?
This is not no more competitive.
When you've broken promises on impeachment legislation, unexplained wealth orders, term limits, grand referenda, you've attacked the Integrity Commission relentlessly. You've undermined them.
Them dead. No, them dead already. My brother march with them.
Basic principles dealing with integrity, honesty, selflessness, and accountability.
Yes.
How can anybody take your word? How do they know that those candidates who are under investigation for illicit enrichment are not offering themselves out there right now to the public, secretly knowing that they are corrupt?
Tough to know all that. Tough to know all that.
I'm going to still go ahead and answer that question. It's a very curious question because I know in the 90s when I became politically aware.
Yes.
I remember politics and scandals. I remember hearing light bulb scandal, fat cat scandal, and then the mother of all scandals, FinSac. When you look in your dictionary and you look for scandal, you see the PNP right there. In terms of the Integrity Commission, it is this administration that implemented it. It is this administration that puts $2 billion annually into it. It is this administration in our manifesto that says we're going to strengthen our corruption prevention mechanisms in this country. It is this administration that has delivered Jamaica's best anti-corruption score. And it's not us that said it. It is an international body, Transparency International. We have been the ones that have been taking Jamaica on the path of anti-corruption, not the PNP.
In addition to that, let me just say very clearly that the Jamaican people are concerned about their lives, their livelihood, their communities, and by extension Jamaica. They talk, we deliver. We have delivered the lowest unemployment, the lowest poverty, reduced crime despite Peter's objection by over 40%, the lowest in 30 years. That is what
Time, thank you.
You not stop job of a Peter
45 seconds.
It's interesting that they say that people are concerned about their standard of living because they're talking about things that happened in the 90s. That's over 30 years ago. Young people who are listening, does that affect your life now? Yet still, they're not speaking about the scandals that young people, anybody 25 years and younger, would have experienced what happened with rural reading education, to the point that education is behind. We are celebrating as a country 5 subjects being attained by 19% of our children. That's 1 in every 5. Is your child one of the 5 that is attaining 5 subjects? And if your child is not, what is happening to them? Our standards are too low. What happened to the used car scandal? What happened to Petrogram scandal? And I'm sure there are many others. Come on, man. 30 years of time.
Thank you.
Yo, Mr. The girl bad, she bad.
Time.
That
Okay.
girl bad.
What we're gonna do now
Me
is
never know
this.
she's so bad.
We're gonna invite Team PNP to deliver a closing statement.
Girl who grew up on PNP when me never first mess here. She bad like her. Yo, she terrible.
Jamaica.
I'm glad see she answer that question. I mean, no, she should have fucking up.
Look good. But what is your lived reality? What do you go through every single day? The reality you face is that you're living hand to mouth.
Facts.
You're working, but you can only afford to go to work and come back based on the wages that you earn.
Wow.
You are working poor. 55% of Jamaicans are considered food insecure, which means they cannot afford to eat a proper meal per day.
International
If they go to the hospitals that Chris supposed to build, them can't find toilet paper or a bed.
Boom.
Jamaica, you deserve better.
Oh, you mean?
Time come for a better life. The next People's National Party administration will lift the tax threshold to 3.5 million, so we can put more money in the pockets of working Jamaica.
Julian alone could have debated trading.
Eliminate the tax on overtime, so that again people can get a break. The same people who are working hard to build our economy.
The man and not them with the substantive issues to them.
So that this thing called the Office of Plenty Ministries, that is a bottleneck where nothing can go through, and it takes a year to do something. We're going to eliminate those efficiencies so that we can grow the economy beyond 1%. We are going to ensure that anybody who is the first in their family gets a scholarship, and that means for persons who are currently at university, we are going to ensure that those who are buying a house get the $500,000 deposit. And I want to assure persons who earn over 3.5 million that this tax benefit is for you too. So what are we going to do? We're going to build a Jamaica in which all Jamaicans can feel a part of. So come September 3rd, when you go to the polling station, I want you to think carefully. I want you to use your head and put the X beside the head.
Thank
you. He said, tell Julian Robinson, him alone could have debated trading. Him and I did them wicked financial.
My fellow Jamaicans, in 2016, you asked the Jamaica Labour Party, you gave them your vote of confidence to correct the ills within our economy caused by the People's National Party. They served 24 of 27 years and created more debt, more unemployment, more poverty than any other administration. Fast forward to today, 2025, we have the lowest poverty rate, we have the lowest unemployment rate, we have a macroeconomic stable society, we have more companies registering to start their business, we have crime that has been the monster of your business, your personal life, down the lowest in 30 years, all by the policies of this government. We still have some ways to go. Our hospital and health centers have embarked on the largest expansion and build out. They left it as a disaster. We have had to correct it. We ask you on September 3rd, give the Jamaica Labour Party the opportunity to continue the work. We have done more for you than any other administration, and certainly more than the PNP has ever done. They are now coming with a one-week plan, essentially, to get your vote by claiming 3.5 when they rejected our 1.5 when we started. They don't know how to get us there. We will get you there. We are about protecting yourselves, your families, your communities by doing what is necessary. That is all that matters. Their diversion around innuendos, rumors, targeting persons, and character assassination does not impact you in your community. It is about the water, the road, the health services, and this government has done more. On the 3rd of September, put your X beside the bell. Vote for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Thank you. In the good spirit of the debates, we invite Team JLP and Team PNP to meet in the middle and shake hands.
Look more. No comment.
You can